is both a religious and a religion-based humanitarian duty to spread a message. The message which is to try and remove the stain on which Zionism is on the Jewish people. Authentic Orthodox Jews, authentic because things have changed over the years, but we go back over hundreds of years. Authentic Orthodox Jews sympathize with the Palestinian cause completely and protest the wrongs done to them. Sadly, this is now a minority view among the Jewish people. A significant minority, but still a minority. But this was not always so. The vast majority of Jewish religious authorities rejected, and very many still reject, the whole idea of what is known as Zionism. And this is a genuine age-old Jewish view. It has what I call the authority of history. Zionism is 100 years old. Judaism goes back thousands of years. And the opposition to Zionism, why do we oppose Zionism, is based on two things. Number one, it is against our belief, what we are taught. And it's also against the religious values of humanitarianism, which we are taught, and which is something everybody can appreciate, whether they understand the Jewish religion or not. Our belief, how is it against our belief? Because, again, we haven't got a lot of time, but I'll try and be brief. We believe that going back thousands of years, that we were promised, the Jewish people were promised the right to live in Palestine. But this was subject to conditions. And this is all written in our scriptures. Subject to conditions being that we had to maintain certain levels of religious standards and moral standards, and but if we were warned that if these standards were not kept, then the Jewish people would be sent into exile. This is written in the scriptures. And so our teaching is that the Jewish people are in a divinely decreed exile. This has been the case for the last 2,000 years. And our teaching is that to go against that is going against trying to rebel against the wishes of the Almighty. So, and we are warned that to try and rebel against the wishes of the Almighty will bring about dire consequences. So that's the first point. Zionism flies in the face of that. Zionism is not a religious movement, it's a secular movement, started 100 years ago with the idea of forming a state, a secular state. They chose to try and build a secular state in Palestine, but this was completely against our Jewish belief that we are not allowed to do that. But the main thing the world at large can understand better is that Zionism, its whole philosophy is imposing itself on another people. Its whole philosophy is to have disregard for the Palestinian hopes. They wanted to take over Palestine. They came from Europe, wanted to take over Palestine. And this is a shocking contravention of humanitarian value. The idea being that they would override by force, if necessary, any opposition, complete disregard of human life and human property. And that is as our eyes have seen, that is the exact nature of Zionism. But that is not the teaching, the Orthodox Jewish teaching. The Orthodox Jewish teaching is to have complete consideration for other people's property and certainly for their lives. So Zionism and Judaism are two completely opposite things. Again, just to sum up, Zionism is wrong morally and logically. Now we have to understand that the confrontation which Zionism brought about in Palestine, don't forget, Jewish people have lived in Palestine for hundreds of years. They lived very peacefully alongside the Muslim communities there. And the strife that is taking place now was only brought about by the Zionist nationalistic idea of forming a state against the wishes of those who are occupying Palestine. And so to sum up, the Zionist, to understand, the Zionist state of Israel, and this is very important in the light of what's happening, the horrific and tragic events that are happening now in Palestine. The Zionist state is the underlying cause of the strife. The fact that over the last 100 years there's been strife from one side to the other side, violence, we're not going into accusations who is right, who is wrong from a violence point of view, but all sides omit, and that goes right up to today, they omit to understand that the basic cause of what's happening inside of Palestine today is the very existence of an illegitimate state known as the State of Israel. Even now, at this late stage, after the terrible events that have taken place, everything could be brought to a standstill. Peace could be, in a moment, brought about. I've often said there's one statement that could be said which would bring about complete peace, bring about the silencing of the guns, bring about the return of hostages. And that statement is, which is a dream at the moment, but that is, as we have to understand, that statement is that we are prepared, the people who have the power to say the statement, we are prepared to sit down and discuss the peaceful dissolution of the illegitimate entity known as the State of Israel. If that statement was made, even if it's something that might take years to implement, there would be, I am certain, that there would be a dramatic change of everything. All the countries, the United States and this country and other countries were there racking their brains. How can we bring an end to what's going on in Palestine? That could bring the end, very simply. But of course, as we understand, it is a dream because the Zionists are very, very obstinate, and they won't make such a statement. It doesn't look like it at the moment. But that is, we have to understand that is what should and could happen. Okay. So just to finish up, State of Israel, I want to say, it's not something that can last. Not last. Falsehood must come to an end. And people say you can't reverse facts on the ground, but you can. If they wanted to, they could. We have to pray for that. Our prayer is for a speedy, total, peaceful dismantling of the entity known as the Zionist state. And there'll be no peace, let's kid ourselves, there'll be no peace in Palestine until that happens. They can try and talk about all sorts of solutions, and one state, two states. They will never bring peace in Palestine until that comes about. And when that comes about, then Arab and Jew, Muslim, Jew, and any other person can live together in peace as in previous times as they've done for hundreds of years. Before, it's only that peaceful coexistence only came to an end with the advent of Zionism. So I'm going up to say that we have to understand there's no religious war. There are people who want to say that there's a religious confrontation between Muslim and Jews. It is not true. Muslim and Jew have lived peacefully alongside each other for hundreds of years. In fact, there is, if you look back in history, look after the last 1,000 years, for instance, anti-Semitism, as it is called, was far, far worse in the European countries. It didn't exist in the Muslim countries. The Muslim country itself was a place of refuge for Jews when they were running away from the anti-Semitic attacks which they had to suffer in various countries in Europe. So, I won't take more time up than I'm allotted. That's our prayer, that for the peaceful, total dissolution of the entity known as the Zionist state. And may we remember, and to be replaced by a regime which is totally in accordance with the aspirations of the Palestinian people. And may we merit the time of peace among the whole of mankind. Thank you.